Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I'm coming to you with a video that I have been waiting to make this video for a year, and I haven't been able to talk about it at all. I haven't been able to say anything, but today I finally get to tell you guys the story of this experience, and I am so excited. I don't even have to say it because you've already seen the title of this video, and that's probably why you clicked on this in the first place, but I was an extra in The Hate You Give.
And hey.
I was an extra in a movie. Like, I can't get over that. So basically, this video is going to be kind of like a story time. Before we get into all the little details of like my experience with everything, I just want to give you guys like an explanation of the book slash movie so you know a bit more about it in case you don't. But for those of you who may not know, The Hate You Give is a book to movie adaptation that is coming out in select theaters on October 5th and everywhere on October 19th, and I'm so excited to go and watch this movie. And the movie, of course, is based off of the novel The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I read this book last year when it first came out and I fell completely in love with it. It's taken the world by storm. It's been a New York Times bestseller like basically ever since it came out, and it's phenomenal. I highly recommend you read this book. I've talked about it several times. I loved it. It's so important. It's so meaningful, and I'm just really happy that it exists. The story is about this girl named Starr Carter who kind of has her feet in two different worlds. On the one hand, she lives in a predominantly Black, low-income community, but she also goes to a predominantly white private high school. So she is kind of like feeling this disconnect between her two worlds. And then one day she's leaving this party with her friend Khalil, and the police end up pulling them over, and she witnesses Khalil get shot and murdered by a police officer. And then the rest of the story is basically about her trying to understand what has happened to him, understand why this has happened to him, and it's about racial injustice, and it's about the Black Lives Matter movement. So many important things, and I get chills talking about it every single time because I remember how wonderful the story is. Everyone needs to read it. It's phenomenal, okay? Just go read the book and then watch the movie. So that's essentially what the story is about. So obviously when I heard that they were making an adaptation of this book, I was thrilled because I loved the book and I would love to see it on screen. I think it would translate perfectly into film, and I just couldn't wait. So I was following along as the casting came out and as we got more news, and I was just really excited about it all. And then one day I was at my apartment at school. I had just gotten back from class and I was just reading through my emails on my phone, and I got this email from Fox Studios. This was like in the middle of the week or something when I got this email, and like just that Monday, like earlier that week, I had gotten back from seeing an early screening of Love, Simon at the Fox Studios lot in LA. So I'd worked with them like literally just this like same week. So I knew who the email was from, but the headline of the email was something like "Hate You Give Influencer Opportunity." And I was like, this is cool. This could potentially be really cool. So I clicked on it, opened it up, and what it entailed was essentially, we would like you to come to set in Atlanta, Georgia, where The Hate You Give is currently being filmed, and get to talk to some of the cast members and potentially a producer and the director, and also be an extra in the film. And when I read this, I screamed. I dropped my phone. I was freaking out. I ran to my roommates and I immediately told them everything. I was like, I'm gonna be an extra in a movie. This is the coolest thing ever. They definitely thought I was going crazy because I probably sounded sounded a bit crazy. Then I instantly called my best friends and I called my mom, told my family because I was just too excited. Like I had to share. I swear I was like giddy the entire time. Like I just couldn't stop smiling. And then after that, everything happened pretty quickly. Like I said, I got the email like midweek, and then like the next week, like a week from then, I had to fly out to Atlanta. Thankfully, it didn't conflict with my school schedule, so I didn't even have to like take time off from school. So I flew out on a Thursday, I think, and then we were on set on Friday, and then I flew back on Saturday. So everything happened in like 3 days, and it was all really fast, but it was just like a whirlwind of a weekend, and oh my God, I just have the best memories. So Fox kindly flew me out there, put us up in a hotel, and of course it wasn't just me, it was other booktubers and another YouTuber. So it was Natasha from Tashopolis, Christine from Poland Bananas Books, Rincey from Rincey Reads, and Naya from Naya Reads and Smiles, and then James Butler, who is another YouTuber. And basically it was like us group of booktubers, and then James was kind of sadly on his own. But by the end of like these 3 days, we'd all like kind of become close and meshed really well because it was like long hours. But yeah, overall like the group was fantastic. So then after we all got there, we basically went to dinner that night, and we kind of like went over what we were going to be doing on set because all of us had a lot of questions because we'd never done something like this before. And they kind of talked us through what to expect from the day, what time we would be leaving for set, what time we would be filming, what else we'd be doing while we were there. And I think that definitely calmed some of my anxieties because I was really, really nervous going into this because I had no idea what to expect from a situation like this because I've never been to a movie set before. I've always wanted to, but I don't know like what to do when you're there. Like it's gonna be a weird experience. So I was really like stressed about this, like in a good way, but still stressed. So having that conversation over that dinner was like really nice. And then the next day is when we went to set. So I don't remember exactly what time we left for set. I want to say it was around like 10 or 11 in the morning because we were actually going to be filming late at night at like 7 or 8 p.m. because we were going to be in the prom scene of the movie. I'll get more into that in a little bit, but basically we left for set kind of early in the morning, and we were going to spend the majority of the day kind of just exploring set, talking to some of the cast and crew, then doing like hair, makeup, wardrobe, which I was so excited to do. In the morning, we get picked up by this bus to take us to set, and the set that they were filming at was actually a high school, and we were all kind of just vlogging with our phones or cameras, whatever we had. And the first thing that we were going to do was actually interview one of the producers, Wick Godfrey. If you don't know who Wick Godfrey is, he has basically worked on every book to movie adaptation under the sun. Like you name it, he's probably produced it. He worked on Love, Simon, he worked on Twilight, he worked on The Fault in Our Stars, The Maze Runner. I'm forgetting other ones, but those are the first that come to mind. So yeah, he's worked on a lot of classic movies. But that was basically the first thing that we got to do. So we got to sit down with him and kind of just like interview him and ask him some questions. He was so kind, super down to earth, really welcoming and really nice to us. So it was fantastic getting to just like talk to him about his process in this and why this story was so important to him. So that was the very first thing that we did. And then after that, they ended up getting a film crew to follow us around and kind of like vlog our experience for us. So initially, like I said, we were all kind of vlogging ourselves on our phones, cameras, whatever we had, but carrying those around started to become kind of like a hassle because sometimes we had to be quiet and then sometimes we'd have to like put our phones and things away. So they ended up actually getting like a legit film crew to follow us around, and that was wild. So they had their like legit professional cameras, actual like microphones, like the microphones that they hold like over your head, you know what I mean? Like when you look at like the behind the scenes of a movie set and they have like those real mics, we got to use those. It was cool. So yeah, I think I was just kind of mesmerized by the whole like concept of being on set and seeing like how much work and time, effort, people it takes to actually make a movie. It's astounding. But anyway, then we basically had like our little film crew to kind of document our experience for us. After we got like the film crew, they wanted us to kind of do like intros. I forget what they called them specifically, like there is an actual term for it. I'm not like a movie film person, so I don't know what it is, but it's basically like an intro, kind of like the intro I do for my videos where I'm like, hey guys, it's Hannah, and today we're gonna be talking about this. And they just essentially wanted us to do that. So I would say like, hey guys, my name is Hannah. I'm currently on set for The Hate U Give. We're gonna be talking to the cast and crew, and I'm gonna be an extra, and like, you know, you get the gist. So that should be like simple enough, right? Like it's like 10 seconds max. Like it's not not that long, but I was so anxious to do this because basically we had like a crew of people standing around us as well as like the other YouTubers who were with me. And something you have to know about me is that it took me like a year and a half to be able to film in my house, in my room, with my door closed while my family was home. So the idea of filming a like intro in front of like at least 10 people was absolutely mortifying to me. But I did end up doing it, and I will insert the clip, but as a preface, I just wanted to say, like, if I look really awkward and uncomfortable, it's absolutely because I was, but I'll insert the clip here so you guys can watch it and laugh at how awkward I look. Hey guys, it's Hannah, and I am currently on the set of The Hate You Give, and I'm so excited to be here. We're gonna be talking to some of the cast and the producer, and it's gonna be a super exciting time, so stay tuned. Isn't it just cringy? It's cringy and weird. I think it's cringy and weird. Anyway, so that was the first thing that they like really filmed for us. And then after that, we were going to walk down and watch them start filming a scene. And I was so excited about this. So we walked down to the gymnasium because the scene that we were watching them film was a basketball scene. So in the book, Starr and her friends play on the basketball team for their school. And this was a scene between like Starr and Haley. And they had these like chairs set up for us. And then there was like this monitor in front of us where we could watch what they were seeing through the camera as they were filming. So we were basically like behind the bleachers, and like right in front of us, the actors were there like actually acting, and the director and the camera crew and everyone was there. So we were basically watching what they were seeing through the camera. And it was so cool. Like they had these headsets and everything so we could hear like through the mics like what the audio would sound like. So after that was when we headed down to the wardrobe trailers, and that was where we got like our own little trailer to put like our stuff in, which was also a super cool experience. But then we just like took some cute pictures in it and like, you know, had some downtime, messed around a bit. So this was probably one of my favorite parts because it was just genuinely a cool experience. So like I said, the scene that we were going to be in was a prom scene. So we were supposed to bring like a dress and like shoes or something if we had them. Otherwise, wardrobe was going to provide them for us for the scene. And since I was at school, I didn't have anything with me. So I went into the wardrobe trailer. The costume designers gave me several dresses to try on, tried them all on. Some of them didn't work, some of them they were okay with, and then finally settled on one, which was this beautiful purple dress that I wanted to take home with me because it was so pretty. And after that, we were all basically dressed in our costumes and we looked really snazzy. We took some pictures with Wick and we were just looking like a cool group. We took so many fun like little clips as we were like walking down the hall. And yeah, I think we were all just like super into just being in our fancy outfits. That's also when I think it started to kind of like feel more real, like the extra part of the whole situation started to feel more real. So then after we were all dressed, the next thing that we had to do was do our hair and makeup. But in between that time, we had a lot of downtime because there were still like several hours before we actually had to like start filming and before they would even start doing hair and makeup. So in between that time, they were trying to see if they could get one of the cast members to come up and do a quick interview with us. Thankfully, there was one cast member who got to just like come up and chat with us for a bit, and that was Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina plays Haley in the movie. She is Starr's best friend and she goes to school with her. She was in that basketball scene we were watching earlier, and it was such an exciting experience getting to talk to her.
So, thanks for taking the time out to like answer our questions. We're so excited that you're like playing Haley. That's amazing. What's it like being a part of production so far? Is it like, has it been just like go, like super crazy?
It has. It's been very nonstop, but I think that's something that's so great about our directors, because the script is, you know, it can be like looked at as a heavier subject matter, and the way that he shoots and the way that he keeps production moving makes it feel like we're just always on the go and we're always moving really quick at a very fast pace. So it helps all of our energy and it helps us just have a really good time while we're doing it.
How was your audition process? Like, did you read the book before or the script, and like how did you feel about it?
Sorry to interrupt you. No, I read the book before, and then I found out that they were obviously turning it into a movie, but that was before I got the audition. So once I got the audition, I was so excited, but I was like, it's gonna be for Haley, isn't it? And so I went in and I read, and obviously the casting director is incredible. She's done some amazing things, and I was very shocked when I booked it. Like, I had no idea. I Skyped with George, the director, before I booked it officially, but yeah, that was a pretty short process compared to others.
You had read the book previously.
I had.
And so you knew about its popularity?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Haley's obviously like a really difficult character to play, especially like in the context of this story. How is that for you?
It's been very interesting. I feel like every time I open my mouth, I want to shut it immediately because in my head, I think before I speak. And I think it's something that this character doesn't relate to. But I think it's interesting because there are so many of these people in the world that we know. And I think we all ourselves have these moments where we don't think before we speak. That's how we make mistakes and that's how we learn from them. I think Haley is learning from her mistakes slowly. I think towards the end of the film, she does start to realize where she's done wrong. But it definitely is a long path there because I think she's just kind of been born into this world where she was very lucky and very privileged and doesn't quite understand that yet, and especially doesn't understand what her friend Starr has been going through. She has no idea. So I think it has been a challenge, but I think that's why I was really excited to do it after I was not excited. I think then I turned it into excitement because I was like, it's a challenge. It's something I've never had to do before. It's something that I don't think anyone's ever seen me do before, so it should be interesting.
What scene were you most excited to film after you read the book?
Well, it's funny because there's certain things in the book that aren't in the movie. There's certain things in the book that are in the movie. One scene that I was really excited about is the actual confrontation scene between Starr and Haley because it's very intense. It's actually more intense in the book. But we do it in the movie to the point where I just think that anybody watching will be like, wow, okay, I get it now, you know? And I think it's one of those scenes that I was really excited to do, and we finished it. Thank gosh. But yeah, no, I think there's so many things. I love the interaction between the girls because they have a really interesting friendship. In the book, they're always quoting the Jonas Brothers because they're like in love with the Jonas Brothers, and we don't have that in the movie. So like in between, like our inner monologue and inspiration always comes from the Jonas Brothers. We're like, okay, you're Kevin, you're Nick. Yeah.
Working with Amanda on that scene, were there any like giggle moments that you're like trying to get through it, but you guys keep laughing?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, today it was interesting because she let it all out on me, and she's like, I feel so bad, like I want to let it out, but not on you. And so it's nice. I mean, but she's incredible, and I think it's also really fun for me at this young age of 18 to be able to work with other actors that are like just so phenomenal and so professional, and in their mind, like she is this role in every way, shape, and form, and it's really, really cool to see that.
So what was reading the book like? Was there anything specific that like stood out to you? Like what really like brought you into the story when you were reading it?
Well, first of all, just how Angie writes is something that just feels like it's so personal to our age group and our demographic, but it also, she's not talking down to like the age group, you know what I'm saying? Like she's very good at communicating that our feelings and our emotions across with her words, and I think the story was just like I said, it's very relatable for young girls that are going through kind of having to be a couple different people in order to please everybody, and sometimes putting other people's feelings before our own, and you know, sometimes just laying back so you don't kind of make a scene or cause any commotion, just kind of staying out of people's way, when sometimes in order to like grow and face your fears, you kind of have to get in people's way. So I think there was so many different parts that I loved about the book. I love Angie as a writer, so I was just a fan.
What do you hope that people like when they like leave the theater? What do you hope they walk away with?
They leave the theater.
Yes, the theater.
Ooh, I hope it opens a conversation. I really do. I hope it starts a dialogue, and I hope that it opens people's minds to listening, to thinking before they speak, to educating themselves. Right. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I gotta go get a dress on.
We're going to prom.
We're all going to prom. Let's go.
Are you going to prom with me?
Yes, oh my gosh, I will. I've never been.
Awesome.
That's a wrap.
Watching that interview back was so fabulous. I'm so thankful to Sabrina for taking the time out of her super, super busy day to just talk to us for a bit. And it was great just getting to hear her thoughts on her character and this film and why it matters. She was just such a gem. So then after our interview, it was finally time to go down and do hair and makeup. I don't know what it is about someone else doing like your hair and makeup, but it makes you feel like fancy. And I really like that. So it was really, really fun. I actually felt really, really bad because they let all of us, like our whole group, cut in front of all all of the other extras who were waiting in line to do their hair and makeup. And oh my God, I felt so bad because there was this like line of girls in their prom dresses waiting to get their hair done, and we just got to go first, and they were standing there for like at least 20 minutes, and we got to do it like way before they did, and I felt so bad. They were also super pressed on time. So yeah, I wanted to apologize to like literally every single one of them. But yeah, after that, we did our hair and makeup, and then it was time to go and get in our places to start filming. This whole thing was just so much and so intense, but honestly, so much fun. I wanna say that we started filming around 8 o'clock, and I know that we finished filming at midnight. So it was a very long time, and we didn't get back to the hotel until like 1 a.m. And then my flight was at like 8 o'clock the next morning. So it was a long night, but it was so much fun. So basically, you can kind of tell from the footage, we were at like the entrance of the high school. So it was like everyone was just arriving to prom. Naya, Rincey, and I were all kind of like standing together, and our job was basically to just like walk across from like one end to the other the whole night. Like that's literally what we did for 3 hours. And essentially the scene they were filming was, like I said, this entrance to prom. Amanda Stenberg, who plays Starr Carter, the main character of the story, would get out of her car and then walk up to meet Chris, her boyfriend. And that was all they were filming. And she basically said one line that entire time. I cannot believe how much work and time it takes to just film one simple thing, because they had to do it from like so many different angles. And yes, there was like a little bit of conversation, but like it was so much time for one tiny segment of like this whole film. And oh my God, I was so amazed at how long it takes to do something so small. Like the amount of dedication astounds me. I have so much respect for people who make films. So yeah, that was basically our entire filming experience. And then after this whole scene was finished, all the extras had to go back in because they still had more filming to do that night, but we were going to be done for that night. We ended up getting the opportunity to interview Amanda Stenberg. And I'm just like so amazed that she took the time after like filming for that long to like stand there and talk to us and do this like interview, because we were all exhausted, but she was so kind and really attentive, and it was just fantastic to get to talk to her.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us. We really appreciate it. Midnight. Yeah, okay. So just to start off, like, what was your experience reading the book when you first like got your hands on it? Like, what was your reaction to it?
My experience with the book was eerie because I related to it so heavily. I think a lot of people who read it do because it's such an authentic book, but also because I was someone who grew up in a lower income black neighborhood and went to a white private school. And so figuring out how to navigate those two worlds was really challenging and was very similar to Starr's experience.
So do you feel like you've put a lot of yourself into this role as you've been going through it?
Yeah, I think I've definitely put a lot of myself into it, but also brought out more of the parts of myself that I had to hide when I was in school, which has been really kind of fulfilling.
Did that make it harder or easier, do you think, with this role? Did you feel like, oh my God, this is kind of difficult because I have such a deep connection with it, or was it like, I can do this, this is like...
It's both. It's more challenging in that it hits me deeper, but it's also easier in a way because it feels so authentic and real. Yeah.
When you finished the book, what scene were you most excited to film? Or reading the script?
We still haven't filmed it yet, but I'm really excited to shoot the riots. Well, you know what? I'm not going to use the word riot, actually. I'm the rebellion. The scene where Starr takes the tear gas that's been thrown at her and she throws it back at police. I'm excited to film that.
You were attached to it like super early on. How was like the process of like getting started?
Yeah, not a lot of people know about that, but I actually was attached before the book was even done.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Seriously?
There wasn't even
How did that happen?
basically the unfinished manuscript of the book was being kind of passed around, and my agency got a hold of it and said, oh, you might be interested in this. My mom actually was the one who found it. She was like, this reminds me so much of you. I think you should read it. And I read it, and I was like, oh my God, I need to do this. And so persistently sought after it, and they were really interested in me just because of, I guess, kind of how I've utilized my platform to speak on things such as Black Lives Matter. And so they felt that it would be a really appropriate fit, and they had me come in and audition and everything. And Angie was stoked to have me cast, and so that was the most important thing, that we have her support and her love.
This script could be taken as kind of heavy. What are some things that you did or do like right before you get in a scene? Do you like go into Starr mode? Like we were sitting in the limo and you were like, in it. You were like in it. We're like, what's going on? Is she in the zone? What are some things you usually do before you go in?
Yeah, it definitely depends on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
The interrogation scene was the interrogation right after Khalil is shot.
Yeah.
It was really intense. Something that I'll do is use music a lot. I'll kind of put in my earbuds. People know not to talk to me or really engage with me as I'm preparing for a scene. I've been listening a lot to Damn, to Kendrick's album Damn, like as I'm preparing for certain scenes, thinking about how these dynamics and these race dynamics and these occurrences are real. They're not just for a movie or a storyline. They're not fictional. A lot of the times, just listening to what Kendrick is saying, like, really grounds me in my own experiences and my experiences of the world, looking at it, and oftentimes what will hit me and get me to bring the emotion through is thinking about how important this movie is in terms of distributing something to mass audiences that's real and isn't talked about enough. Yeah.
And what do you hope that people like walk away with when they leave the theater?
Yeah,
like
they could take one thing out of
they
it.
could take one thing from it. What would you want them to take from it?
I just want people to see Black people as human.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. They're so sweet. Oh my God.
We get to go back to prom?
I truly love watching that interview footage back. It makes my heart really happy. Getting to hear why this film was so important to her and why she took on this role and all of her personal experiences and how tied she feels to this character is so wonderful and beautiful. I just cannot wait to watch it and see what she brings to Starr's character. But yeah, so there you have it. That was basically it for my experience as an extra in The Hate U Give. A huge thank you to Fox and the cast and the crew and everyone who took time out of their day to accommodate us, to show us around, everyone who filmed us, the cast members who let us interview them. Thank you so much. I am so eternally grateful. It's been a year and I am still in awe of the fact that I even got to experience something like this. It still doesn't feel real to me, and I cannot even express to you how much gratitude I have for all of you for making this possible, honestly. If it wasn't for BookTube, if it wasn't for this channel, I would not have gotten to experience something this incredible, and it is truly one of the most, if not the most incredible thing I've ever gotten to experience. And I can't stop smiling. This whole experience has meant so much to me. It's gonna be something that I look back on for the rest of my life with such fond memories. And of course, I already love the book. I love the story. I know I'm going to love the film, but now I have such like a deep personal attachment to it as well. So it's brought another level of love to this story for me. So I cannot wait for this film to release. I hope so many of you go out and watch this movie. It's so important. It is so needed. It is such a powerful story. And I just can't wait for the world to be able to watch it. The Hate U Give is out in select theaters on October 5th and out everywhere October 19th. So please go watch it with your friends, enjoy this story, read the book. Read it first, then go watch the movie, or go watch the movie and then read the book. Either way, it's a story that deserves to be consumed in every form, and I cannot wait for it to be shared with the world. But that is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, I am at clockwork_reads on Instagram and Twitter. So if you want to talk to me some more about my experience being on set, or if you just want to talk to me about the book or the movie after you watch it, feel free to DM me. But yeah, that is it. I'm so glad I've gotten to share this story with you guys. Like I said, I have been like sitting on it for a year. I haven't been able to talk about it. I've been keeping it all in, and I'm just so happy that I finally get to share it with you. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!